NTA. All about you.
Nation building is a task of extreme importance. The government, through the instrumentality of political and public institutions, articulate policies tailored towards achieving developmental objectives in the various sectors of our national life. The implementation of the policies and the attainment of the set goals are a function of governance. On our weekly show, The Weekend File, we examine the process of achieving these goals in a transformation era by breaking down the complex programs of development into weekly topical issues for analysis and comprehensive coverage by our correspondents across the nation. It's all about development. It's all about news, views, and the life.
NTA International News.
President Buhari promises necessary support to the military to end insurgency as Course 23 National Defense College graduates. Chief of Army Staff reads Riot Act against unfit soldiers for combat and regimentation. All Progressives Congress APC asked federal government to review the current template determining prices of petroleum products. Hello there, so good to have you join us on NTA International News. I am Oku Ekmayong. Now we'll begin our stories from Nigeria's State House, where President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians and the international community that his administration has the will, resolve and conviction to end the Boko Haram threat to Nigeria's national life. To this end, he promised to provide all the support needed to meet operational logistics, training and welfare requirements of the armed forces. The President was speaking at the graduation of Course 23 of the National Defense College, Abuja. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports.
It is the first official visit by President Muhammadu Buhari to any military institution since assumption of office as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Presenting certificates to the 129 graduating participants of the college drawn from Nigeria and other African countries, the President expressed delight over the contributions of the institution to national security, stability and development.
To resolve to make a marked difference in your future deployment and to contribute to your quota to the evolution and implementation of national security, defense and military strategies. We are proud to declare government's commitment to support the infrastructural and curriculum development plans, particularly the accelerated completion of the permanent site.
On national security, President Muhammadu Buhari noted with concern the overdependence of Nigeria on foreign production for critical military equipment and logistics resource base, saying viable mechanisms must be evolved for self-sufficiency. To this end, he directed the Ministry of Defense to work towards the development of a modest military-industrial complex for Nigeria, while the Defense Industries Corporation DICON must be re-engineered to meet the needs of the nation's military. The President challenged the military chiefs to show result-oriented leadership at all levels of military command, as well as coordinate all elements of national power against insurgency.
We must show confidence and winning mentality. Let me reiterate here that the federal government under my leadership shall continue to provide the necessary support needed to meet operational, logistic training and welfare requirements of the armed forces of Nigeria. In the immediate time, we shall do everything in our power to stabilize the situation and restore hope and normalcy.
While saluting the sacrifices of the servicemen and women in the fight against Boko Haram, the President also commiserated with the victims of terrorism in Nigeria. Prizes were given to deserving graduates, with Colonel Ahmed Ibrahim Tau carting away the Commander-in-Chief's grand prize as overall best graduate. Distinguished Alumnus Awards went to the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Martins Luther Agwai, as well as the Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, while General J.T. Husseini received Eminent Fellow Award of the college.
As we did today, I urge you to quickly embrace change. As exemplified and personified by our most esteemed guest of honor, I charge you to do your utmost best to contribute to this change for the overall security and development of our country and indeed the world.
Established only 3 years ago, the National Defense College has a mission to impart knowledge and develop skills and expertise of selected senior military and civilian officers through a firm understanding of all the essential factors that impact on national security. From the National Defense College, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, Major General Tukur Buratai, warns that any soldier found to be unfit for combat and regimentation will be delisted from the service. Major General Buratai handed down the warning after leading an over 20-kilometer route march for officers and soldiers to the outskirts of Abuja metropolis. Defense correspondent Muhammad Al-Qadri has the details.
It was a platform for a show of force and deterrent to the criminal elements to keep off. It also turned out to be a morale booster and an opportunity to measure the combat readiness of the force, as participants did what they know how to do best, from Aguiyi-Ironsi cantonment to Kubwa and back to base. The Chief of Army Staff re-emphasized the need for improved response time and what he called good-to-go posture to put an end to insurgency in the country.
Well, we are physically ready, mentally alert, and indeed to be evaporated spiritually, so we are ready to go about
The route march remains a monthly operation. This is the first route march to be conducted under the new leadership of the Nigerian Army, aimed at improving discipline, regimentation and professionalism. From the headquarters, Guards Brigade, Abuja, Muhammad Abdelkadir, NTA News.
To achieve strict discipline and ethics expected in modern policing, the Police Service Commission has commenced investigations into alleged police misconduct, especially as related to abuse of fundamental human rights. The chairman of the Police Service Commission, Mr. Mike Okio, said such investigation by the Commission is in line with its constitutional mandate to hold the police accountable for its conduct and misconduct. Bonaventure Wood has the reports.
The chairman said the commission has observed some problem between the police and the public bordering on human rights abuse and national justice. It is the fact that we have a spate of reports in the newspapers about police misconduct, which emanate from either extrajudicial killings, long and illegal detention, that it was rape or murder. And I feel that our mandate include the discipline of police officers. The Commission chairman disclosed that they are currently investigating many of the cases, among which are brutalization of 8-month pregnant women at satellite area in Lagos, Benson Obodo, who allegedly died in Benin City while in detention, and a petition from a human rights group alleging gruesome murder of a young lady due to carelessness and negligent driving by some men of Mora police force who were on duty and escorting a bullion van. Mr. Kiro said they have written to the Inspector General of Police to summon the 3 errand officers and advise the members of the public to write to the Commission should they have any issue with the police. In Abuja, Bonaventure Wood, NTA News.
Now, in a related development, there has been a call for a proper coordination of the operations of disaster management agencies in Nigeria to engender viable services which mitigate disasters and improve emergency responses. This was the submission of stakeholders in emergency management who appeared on NTA's flagship program, Good Morning Nigeria. Gufan Shaji tells us more.
Guests were drawn from relevant agencies whose operations centered on managing emergencies and disasters across the country. They were forthright in their opinion and views on how best to improve response to emergencies and called for functional emergency management institutions at the federal, state and the local government level to particularly mitigate man-made induced disasters.
Noted in 2012 was that the humanitarian assistance came from here and there, and there was no proper coordination. As a consequence, we found out that some places had more than required, and some places had deficits. Now that we have the threat from the release of water from that border, we work in tandem with the State Emergency Management Agency and the relevant lead agencies.
The issue of capacity was brought to the table as the guests reviewed some operational methods deployed by agencies like the National Emergency Management Agency, the Fire Service and the Red Cross. They argued the need to improve capacity and emergency training within these agencies, as well as that of complementary paramilitary organizations such as the civil defense and construction companies.
If NEMA has stock preposition, it's more or less like the Red Cross has stock preposition. There are deficiencies in areas of firefighting infrastructure. We're talking about fire stations, fire hydrants. There are deficiencies in terms of personal strength. We have covered 774 local government in Nigeria. There are no local government we go to in Nigeria today, we don't have civil defense corps members that are there on ground. They have been trained and groomed in readiness to intervene in many disaster occurrences.
In the last couple of years, lives and property worth millions of naira have been lost to flooding in several parts of the country. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
Away from security and related matters, individuals and industries that pose health risk in the use of generating sets are to be sanctioned by the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRIA. Director General of NESRIA, Dr. Lawrence Anuku, made this known in the media briefing in Abuja. Nia Ogidi reports.
Nigeria on yearly basis records an alarming number of deaths as a result of carbon monoxide fumes emitted from generating sets.
Big and small spend billions on power. And crucial,
Sadly, the unsteady power situation in the country has made the use of generators become a necessary evil, with over 60 million generators imported into Nigeria on yearly basis. Despite this situation, the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency NESRA attributes most of these cases to the wrong use of generators, either by owners or neighbors, hence the need for close monitoring.
You recall very unfortunately that in the past we've had families sleeping, they don't wake up. And we don't want this to continue. And at times too, we know it come from them. It may come from neighbor who has just positioned the exhaust of his own generator to these unsuspecting neighbors when they keep on beating that. And these are things we want to stop. If you have to use the generator, use it properly. If you have to use the generator, service the generator properly. This is part of our environmental air quality program. It's in addition to what we are doing about the vehicle emission control program.
To further strengthen its enforcement, the agency is to set up offices in the remaining 8 states across the country. In Abuja, Nia Ogidi, NTA News.
Look at politics now. A chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Chief Madaki Ame, is calling on the federal government to jettison the template currently used by the Petroleum Mark Products Pricing Regulatory Agency, PPRA, in determining the prices. He was speaking at the second series of events by the coalition of APC support groups to mark the second year since the foundation of the APC. Correspondent Amanda has details.
Chief Army, a lawyer and operator in the downstream sector of the industry, in the lecture titled Efficient Management of the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry, described the current template used by the PPPRA as fraudulent with duplicated charges and highly inefficient. For an efficient management of the nation's oil and gas industry, it called for a streamlining of operations of the downstream sector with emphasis on building refineries.
We can stop payment of subsidy. We can bring back at least 2 trillion plus that we're spending now on petroleum subsidy back into our national budget.
Chairman of the coalition, Ambassador Lawal Muhammad Muna, said the topic for the lecture was chosen to assist the APC in the quest to articulate policies and programs for national development.
Foreign exchange earner of the country should be in the front banner so that things go the right way.
We are into intellectual stimulation to come up with ideas to support the government. Our next step is to move on to the leadership of the party, who are the custodians of the manifestation of the party.
The coalition appreciated the party for allowing it to contribute its quota to APC's efforts to rescue Nigeria. In Abuja, Ominiudan, NT News.
The People's Democratic Party's caucus in the Senate has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to intervene into the alleged harassment by some security operatives over the 2015 election processes in some states. The Senate PDP caucus addressed the media at the National Assembly. Abdullahi Aminu reports.
The senators under the leadership of the Deputy Senate President A.K. Ukweremodu said the current investigation of some electoral offices in 3 states of Akwa Ibom, Rivers and Imo has some political undertones. According to them, the investigation should not only focus on the states won by the PDP. Senate Minority Leader Godzul Akpabio says the caucus is determined to complement the federal government's drive on anti-corruption crusade.
We believe Nigeria and Nigerians can achieve a safe and prosperous nation, and therefore express our wholehearted willingness to work with Mr. President to make this happen. The PDP Senate caucus, despite its formidable strength, has resolved to offer only credible opposition.
Meanwhile, Chairman Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Information Senator Dino Melaye said the focus of the present administration on the platform of All Progressives Congress is the process of revamping the country's socio-economic well-being.
If people who have committed atrocities are now being either investigated or questioned, they should not politicize the issue.
From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Now you're watching the news on NTA International. Here is a recap of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari promises to provide necessary support to the military as his administration brings to an end insurgency in the country. Still to come, Nigeria police set to beef up security of match venues, leading more after this hangout.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you choose information.
More news from NTA International. President Muhammadu Buhari said time has come for Nigerians to do more than paying mere lip service to agriculture. The president made the declaration at an audience with the president of the International Fund for Agriculture, Nigerian-born Dr. Kanayo Nwanze, who called on him at the president's villa. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
President Buhari said the petroleum that Nigeria depended on for so long will no longer suffice, and therefore it is time to go back to land. He said the governing APC campaigned heavily on agriculture and is now prepared to assist individuals and groups willing to go into agricultural ventures. The president said the long bureaucratic processes Nigerian farmers usually go through to get assistance from government will be cut short by his administration. He also promised to improve productivity of farmers, boost dry season farming, and take steps towards combating the receding of Lake Chad in the interest of the economy and well-being of Nigerians. President, International Fund for Agricultural Development, Dr. Kanayo Nwanze, assured the President of the fund's readiness to give all possible assistance to the federal government and Nigerian farmers towards boosting agriculture in the country.
This country has all the endowment that it takes for it not only to produce enough food for its population, but also to be the breadbasket of the region. And this is where my institution, on my behalf, I offered our services and our support in the agenda of rural transformation as a key ingredient in this country's economic and social development. Now, interestingly, what I was saying resonates very well with His Excellency the President, because he himself believes very strongly in the role of agriculture in development, economic growth and social development.
The International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, established in 1978, has been collaborating with Nigeria for over 30 years. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, in line with the present administration's job creation drive, a six-man standing committee to collaborate with Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMIDN, and the National Board for Technology Incubation, NBTI, has been inaugurated. Chief executives of the agencies say the collaboration will further promote the development of techno-entrepreneurship in the country for economic growth. Justin Ben-Oni has the details.
High unemployment rate in Nigeria has long been an issue of concern to both the government and the populace, which experts say is partly responsible for some of the societal ills being witnessed in the country. This against this backdrop that the present administration is placing emphasis on job creation and entrepreneurship, where ideas are translated into profitable commercial ventures for the overall economic growth of Nigeria. The long-existing collaboration between Small Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria and the National Board for Technology Incubation, which they say has been dormant, has been reactivated.
The application of technology in the way we do business in Nigeria is not overdue. And that is the more reason why we are much more determined than ever to partner or collaboration with NTA, so that together we can continue to produce techno-entrepreneurs in the country, which can only make the unnecessarily better for entrepreneurs. Some of the entrepreneurs and figures in the stock exchange for India, I think that the time we collaborate, we are going to produce more active players in the nation's economy.
The committee is charged, among other terms of reference, to develop a framework for collaboration between the two agencies. Comprising of 3 officers from both agencies, the committee is expected to submit periodic reports for necessary action towards ensuring that all vital recommendations are implemented for the benefit of the country. In Abuja, Justin Ben-Oni, NTA News.
And now for a look at some stories trending around the globe. Gunmen in Mali launch attack on hotels inhabited by mostly foreigners. Indian doctors on strike over better allowances. Plus, fresh search operation and missing nation flight ongoing in French island. These and more on Global Tidbits with correspondent Chindinma in Division.
armed men have opened fire in a town where many hotels are situated, hitting at least 2 hotels. The central town has an Air Force base and United Nations peacekeepers are residents there. Some foreigners were also said to have been lodged in the hotels. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, an earthquake has hit the eastern part, leading to collapse of buildings and the death of 2 children. Neighboring country Rwanda was also affected, with few people injured. In the meantime, rising heat wave in Europe has caused wildfires in Spain. Most people in towns and campsites have been evacuated to a safer area. And France has launched a new search operation within the Union Island for more fragments that will be linked to the missing Malaysian flight MH370. This follows a controversy trailing the released test result of a fragment found on the island, which Malaysian investigators linked to the Malaysian flight MH370. But French investigators did not confirm the link. That's Global Tidbits. Chindama, BBC, NTA News.
Turning to sports now, police set to beef up security at match venues of the Nigerian Professional Football League as UEFA Champions League playoffs begin August 18. Details with Ayodeji Makinde on Sports Update.
The Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, has assured the League Management Company, LMC, of adequate security for the Nigerian Professional Football League match venues across the country. The IG, who gave the assurance Thursday in Abuja while receiving the LMC Executive Board, led by its chairman Sheikh Udiko, said improved security and safety measures at match venues will boost spectatorship as well as add value to Nigerian football. I will look at those 19 areas, 19 states where we are having big matches. Look at the places where I have my mounted troops, and we can experiment, with using horses too to also manage, the crowd. Round 22 matches of the Nigeria Professional Football League continues Sunday with the Heartland of Owerri versus 3SC match as the star pairing of the weekend. Defending champions Kano Pillars are away at Bayelsa United, while second place Enyimba International entertain Lady Stars of Makurdi in Aba. Meanwhile, the English Premier League begins at lunchtime Saturday without its record signing and held in Area when Manchester United take on Tottenham Hotspur, while newly promoted Bournemouth take on Aston Villa. Nigeria striker Odion Igalo is expected to lead the attack when his newly promoted club side Watford take on Everton. Manchester United will play against Club Brugge while Valencia take on Monaco in the playoff round of the UEFA Champions League route, following the draws in Lyon, Switzerland on Friday. Highlights of the Champions route is the tie between Celtic, the first British club to lift the trophy in 1967, and Malmö of Sweden, who were runners-up in 1979. The kickoff is on the 18th of August. World Basketball Governing Body FIBA Friday in Tokyo, Japan named the Republic of China as host for the 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup. It will be the first time the 15-time Asian champion will host the tournament. With sports updates, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
And next is our weather prospects for Saturday.